Today we're gonna do a tutorial. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Julia. Today we're doing the Scrunchie tote bag tutorial. Super cute, right? We got a cute kitty one that I'm gonna show you how to do today. And of course the cow print. Now these are new items in my store. I think I just added them like last weekend actually. And they're pretty cute. They got these scrunchy handles and they're pretty spacious on the inside. You can fit a cell phone in there, you can fit makeup, you can fit a coin purse. It's made to fit on the wrist and very sturdy. So we're gonna do that today. So let's get started, but before we do, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications for future videos from me. Okay guys, here's what you need for the actual bag. You're gonna need 3 pieces of this, which is gonna be 16 inches in length and 12 inches tall. You wanna make one of these a rough cut of like around 17 inches by 13 inches, just to allow for some shrinkage. If you're printing your fabric, this is the outer fabric of the bag. So it's going to shrink a little bit. So you want to allow some room for that. So don't cut this exactly 12 by 16 yet, just 2 of the pieces. Okay, so wait until you print this. So that's the actual bag. Now for the handles, you're going to need 2 pieces that are 3 inches tall or wide by 10 inches long. So you need 2 of these, and you're going to need 4 of these, which are 4 inches approximately. This is again rough cut because you're going to be printing it. So all 4 pieces you're going to be printing, so allow a little bit extra room. So when they are printed, you ultimately want them to be 4 inches wide by 13 inches long. Notice it's at like 14 1/4. I allow for some shrinkage when I actually print it. And this is for the handle, the outside of the handle. And you need 4 of these. So I use batting in my bags, and I use approximately 1/8 inch thick batting. This is actually a fusible fleece, and I had to double it up to make about 1/8 of an inch. Now I believe this is a Pellin 987F, but you can actually use a sew-in felt that's also like 1/8 of an inch. It's whatever you have on hand or whatever you can find, because I'm finding that a lot of batting is out of stock right now. So it's just basically what you can find. So this you can readily find at like Hobby Lobby, Joann's, and Waywick. So they have this, which is the Pellin 987F. So I use this, I just don't use the fusible part. Like you can feel the glue right here, and I put the glue parts together so that this part is facing the fabric that's going to lay on top. So you're not fusing the fabric at all. You're just using it as batting. Now you want to cut the batting a little bit shorter than your actual satin for the bag. So you want to make it approximately 15.5 inches long by 12 inches high. Okay, now we're ready to actually print your design onto the satin, the one that's rough cut for the outer fabric. Now I print my design on a 13 inch by 19 inch sublimation transfer paper. And you'll notice that I'm using a print. So I actually have a line that kind of goes through the print right here. If I had more time, I would actually make this a little bit neater. But you'll see that I have a line right here because when you print onto the fabric, you want to make sure when you fold the bag, the print's going to be upside up on both sides. So if you do have a print like this, just make sure you do something like this where you're right in the middle of your print. You're going to make it so this goes up and that's upside down, which is really upside up. So anyway, that's what you do for the prints. If you just have like a cow print, like the one that I showed at the beginning of the video, you wouldn't have to do this. So then you want to put the shiny side of the satin down onto the fabric. And you want to kind of maybe find the center. If you're doing this, find the center of the fabric, like right there, and then like that. And then you would print like this. Okay, now for the handles, I basically printed the same design, same size and everything, but I put the print a little bit smaller because the handles are smaller in size compared to the bag. So I just made the print a little bit smaller. You can do what you want with your designs. You can leave it the same size as this. This is the printed fabric for the bag. If you can see, the caps are pretty much about double the size. You can do that, or you can just leave it the same size. It's entirely up to you. And so now you want to take your 4 pieces of the roughly cut 4 inches by 13 inches. And you want to put 2 satin side down onto each paper, and you can maneuver them as you please. They don't have to be in any kind of order. There you go. Now you can just take that up. And when I take the actual satin onto the transfer, I do it very minimally, so you're not fraying the fabric too much when you take the tape off. Okay, now let's go to the heat press. Now all I have to do is cut the fabric to size. For the bag, I usually flip it over and then measure 12 inches wide by 16 inches tall. And I'll make that just like my other satin fabric. And for the handles, I'll be cutting that to size at 4 inches wide by 13 inches in length for each of the 4 pieces. And just a note, guys, if you are using a lighter satin like I am, I'm using a 4.2 ounce polyester satin. If you're using something like a bridal satin that's like 10 ounces, you probably won't need 3 pieces. You probably just need the outer piece of the bag and the lining with the batting. Just a pointer. Because all the extra fabric is used for is to actually create kind of like a buffer so that you can't see through the fabric, like so. So it just adds an extra layer. So let's get started. This is the lining you're not going to see. Then you want to put your outer fabric facing up, and then you want to take your actual lining of the bag and you want to put that shiny side down. So it's right sides together, you're shiny against the right side of the outer fabric. And you want to pin that in place. Now you want to go to the sewing machine and you want to stitch a straight stitch all the way on the long sides, both sides. And you want to use about a 1/4 inch seam. Okay, and this is what it looks like after you stitch the sides. We're going to put that to the side now, and we're going to grab our handles. Okay, so first things first, put the inner part of the handle to the side. Now you want to put these pairs, and you want to sew them so that they become one piece, like so. And you want to pin it right here, and you're just going to sew one side, and we'll do the same for this one. Right sides together, And there you go. And you want to sew this part right here. Okay, so now you want to open it up. Ta-da! There you go. So now you get one long piece, and what you're going to do is, like it this way. Now you're going to make this into a tube, so you want to pin it right sides together. You want to do both of them like that. And you want to make sure you can match the seams as well. There you go. Now you want to grab your small pieces right here, and you're going to fold these. Doesn't matter which way, you're not actually going to see these. These are going inside, so when we get there I'll show you, but you want to pin these together, long sides together. Now we're going to go to the sewing machine, and you're going to stitch all the way down 1/4 inch seam for every single piece on all these. So 1/4 inch seam all the way down, all along the long side. Okay, now we're going to turn these tubes after they've been sewn. You want to turn them inside out, or I should say right side out. And a good way to do that is with these safety pins. Now these are like 2-inch safety pins, 56 millimeters, and these are perfect for this type of project. So you want to stick it inside the seam. You can do it once or twice. I like to do it twice. There you go. And then you're just going to slip the pin inside like this. And it makes it really easy to go through the tube like this. Okay, there it is. And you just want to pull on it. And then you kind of want to turn it right side out, begin it like this. So it turns inside out easy. I'm doing this from a distance, so it's a little bit harder for me right now. There you go. Okay. It's kind of stuck right there. Of course, this would happen now. We'll get it, I promise. Just gotta work it in the beginning. There it goes. There. Okay, got one done, and you gotta do that for all 4 of these. There you go. Just undo it. And you can press them after you turn them inside out so that they're a little bit more flatter, which I tend to do just a little bit, give it a light iron, so the wrinkles aren't in there. Okay, I just turned them all in right side out, and then I gave them a really quick ironing under the heat press. Very light pressure just to get rid of the wrinkles. Okay, so next part we need to do is get these inside these tubes. So what we're going to do is grab 2 safety pins, and you want to grab the inner seam again, and you want to put your safety pin in there. You can put it in once, it doesn't matter. There you go, you got one side, and you want to do it to the other side. Oops. There you go. There. There you go. Okay, now you're going to fish this inside one of these. So let's do it this way. There you go. And like before, you're just bunching it up, making it go through. The one thing you want to be aware of, you just don't want this side to go get lost inside on this end. So you can keep an eye on it, or you can hold it like this. Until it comes out on the other end. There you go. Ta-da! There it is on the other end. Now you just want to hold this and hold these together like so. And you just want to make this as even as possible. So the ruffles kind of look even on both sides. Isn't that cool? There you go. Okay, and you want to keep it like this. Don't lose the pins inside. Then you have to do it all over again. Ask me how I know. Okay, so this is your handle for now, and we'll do it for this one too. Okay, now let's make our handles. We're going to sew them together. So you want to take your, I call them training wheels, take your training wheels off, like so. There you go. I'm going to reach for some pins. Okay. Now you want to meet the outer fabric with the inner fabric. Not sure if you can see that. Yep, you can see that. Okay, and you want to fold this over and pin it. And you want to do the same to the other side. Have the outer fabric meet the inner fabric. Sometimes I stick my finger inside, makes it easier. Like so. And you want to fold it over and pin it. Okay. Now you're going to sew about 1/4 of an inch along this fold, both sides. Okay. Okay guys, here they are. So your handles are done. Aren't they cute? So we're going to put these to the side for now. And we're going to get the sandwich fabric that we sewed earlier along the sides. Now we're going to turn this inside out so that the right side of the fabric is sticking out like that. Okay, now we want to get our batting, and you may need to trim it along the sides, especially if you have a home machine. It's going to be a lot easier if you just trim it a little bit in so that you're not right on the seam, only because it starts to get thick when you put it together. So let's trim ours a little bit. Now you can just stick your batting inside. You can just slide it in And you can put it on any layer, but I usually put it between the bottom layer and the actual middle layer. And you just slide that in. There you go. You just want to make sure it's straight on there. There. Okay. All right, next step. Now you want to curl, I should say fold in, not curl, about 1/4 inch on each side. So 1/4 inch on the design side. You want to pin it. And you want to do this to the other side too. 1/4 inch. And if you have some batting sticking out like this, you can actually trim it. Okay, now's the time to put in your handles. And what I did is I actually added some extra pins, clips, so just to hold it in place for this next step. So now you want to find the middle. And this is about 11 1/4 inches. So you want to find the middle. It'd be a 5 5/8. So we're going to bring in one of the pins right in the middle, where 5 5/8 is. Okay, and we'll move this one actually over here, there. Okay, now to evenly space your handles, the marks you want are, make sure your ruler's straight here. So what you want is 7 5/8. So you want the middle of this handle to be at the 7 5/8 mark. So we're gonna stick it inside. Now we're just sticking this handle inside the sandwich, in the middle. And we make sure that we're in the middle. Oops, move it up to this side. There you go. I'm gonna move this one over. So now it's at 7 5/8. So the middle of this handle is at 7 5/8. And you push it in up to the where it starts to ruffle. And then you pin that in place. There you go. And now for the other side, I'm going to move this guy over. There. Now you want it at 3 5/8. And that is, sorry if my arm's in the way. There. So that's at 3 5/8 right here. And you want to pin that. There you go. So now to put the handle in place, all you're going to do is do a top stitch right along the edge. And I usually do about 1/8 inch. And then I go back and do another seam about 1/4 inch from the edge. So you're going to have 2 top stitch seams. And you want to do this to the other side. And a little tip before you go to sew, if you want to figure out if both your handles are going to match the height from the bag, I usually put it on my grid here, the edge of the bag on the grid, right on a straight line. And then I measure how many squares it is, and it's usually 2.5 to the point of the scrunchie handle. So you get 1, 2 squares, and then 1/2 square. And I make sure it's the same size on this side. So I put it on the edge, on the line, and I raise it just enough, and it's exactly 2.5. So you know your scrunchie handles are going to match up. Match up. Okay, and the handles are sewn in place and we got a nice seam. I put a double seam. You can see that. There you go. And the handles match perfectly. Oops, you can't see that. So, there you go. Okay, so now we're going to flip it over like this. And we're going to make the bag sides like this one. So we're going to make the bag sides and we're going to measure 2 inches. A little bit more. 2 inches. You want to pin this. There we go. And one more. There you go. You want to do this on both sides. Okay, now you're going to sew the edges right here, the long edges, all the way down each side. Okay guys, here it is, all sewn. So it's starting to look like a bag now. Okay, so next step, you want to put right sides together. And then you want to pin in place, making sure everything matches up. We're almost done, guys. It's gonna look super cute, I can't wait. This is why I had you guys trim the batting that goes in between, because right about this point, if I had extra batting right here, if you have a home machine, it would have been very hard to get through all this. So that was a good tip. Okay, next step, all you're going to do is sew along this short little edge here on this side and on the other side. Alright guys, look at this. It's starting to look like a real bag. Almost like this one. We have one more step to do. And that's to measure approximately 1 3/4 from the bottom. And you just want to make a mark. You're measuring from the bottom of the bag until about that mark right there. Flip it over. Do the same thing, 1 3/4. Do it right there. And make a mark. Want to do that on the other side. 1 3/4. Make it towards the edge here. And 1 3/4. Now this is a water-soluble pen. You probably want to do an air-soluble pen for satin, so you don't have to use water to get rid of the mark. It kind of disappears anyway, so I think it's partial air soluble. Okay, so now we're gonna do a gusset. So you made your marks on both sides, right? So you wanna stick your hand inside the bag, like so. Make a triangle, all right? And now you're gonna stitch. Make sure the triangle's straight. Don't want a crooked triangle here, so. All right, make sure your triangle's straight. Now you wanna sew across right here. And some home sewing machines may have a difficulty doing this. If you do, just hand crank your sewing machine. So let's go to the sewing machine and stitch this across right here. Okay, so we sewed our gussets at the base. Okay, moment of truth, guys. Here it comes. See if we did this correctly. Let's make sure the corners are taken out. There you go. Yep, we did it correctly. That is super cute, guys. That is awesome. Here you go. All done. Pretty cute, huh? Okay guys, this is the gift box that I offer or about to offer on my website. It has the bag with a matching scrunchie and a matching pair of socks. These are ankle socks, and I just put them in a 10 by 12 by 4 inch high box. And I'm gonna put some stickers and postcard, thank you postcard, and a coupon code and all that inside. So I think that's kind of cute. Well guys, that's it for the tutorial. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions whatsoever, just ask me in the comments below and I'll answer the best I can. But these came out really cute. Very excited to do other designs and get more on my website. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you next week.